So there was something that I wanted to share with you. There was a video that I wanted to watch. We've talked about this guy before. He's somebody that a lot of people think will run with Trump for vice president. His name is Vivek Ramaswamy. He's going around talking and he's gaining a lot of popularity. And he's kind of talking about a lot of the important issues that are, that our country's having problems with. And I just kind of wanted to get a reaction to this video. It's called The Great Uprising. So let's check it out.
The Great Reset is a vision from the World Economic Forum in Davos that calls for dissolving the boundaries between the public sector and the private sector, dissolving the boundaries between nations, dissolving the boundary even between the online world and the offline world to work together towards the singular global common good as articulated by the likes of Klaus Schwab. What we're seeing in Western democracies around the world is a rising, an uprising. I'd call it, yes, in a good way, a populist uprising of everyday citizens who say hell no to that vision. I'm not some vague, nebulous global citizen fighting climate change somewhere. I'm a citizen of this nation, in our case, the United States of America, and I'm proud of that, and that citizenship means something. That's what I call the Great Uprising. But for the Great Uprising to actually succeed, we have to stand for something, for an alternative vision. What is that vision? It is sovereignty. That's the opposite of the Great Reset. We've been searching for what it is. What does it mean to be the opposite or in opposition to the Great Reset? It means we are sovereign at the level of the individual, the family, the nation, and God. Individual, family, nation, God, that beats race, gender, sexuality, and climate. If we have the courage to actually stand for something, for our vision of what it means to be sovereign as an individual, that I am an agent, free to achieve what I want with my own free will, not riding some fake tectonic plate of group identity. My membership in a family, the ultimate unit of governance, the best known form of governance to mankind in our country or any other one. That I'm a citizen of a nation, and that means something, that national identity is part of my identity, that the nation state grounds me, and I'm not going to apologize for my pride in it. And my belief that we are one nation under God, that God doesn't have to be some four-letter word or treated as such, but that we are part of something bigger than ourselves, that there is a God that puts us here for a purpose, and that gives us our sense of direction in this world. That's the opposite of the Great Reset. Particularly, let's talk about that topic of national identity. We've fallen into this trap of believing that there are globalists who want to make the world a better place, and then there are those of us, I call myself one of them, nationalists, who believe that it's the job of leaders to look after the interests of our own nation. And we've almost ceded the argument to the other side by saying that they're arguing for how to make the world a better place, where we're just here talking about how to make our nation better. Well, I think that's the wrong framing of the argument. It's not the fact that the people who want to make the world a better place are going to be successful at doing it. The way we make the world a better place is for leaders of each nation to make their nation the best version of itself. That's the true positive nationalist vision, is what it means to be sovereign at the level of the individual, the family, the nation, and a nation under God. That's how we ground what I see as a multinational conservative movement of everyday citizens of those nations stepping up to say, you know what, here's how we're going to help each other and help the world, is each of our nations to be the best version of ourselves. For me, that's right here in the United States. But if that's Giorgia Meloni in Italy, or Viktor Orban in Hungary, or whether it's Bukele in El Salvador, or any other leader in any other country who says that, you know what, my job is to make sure my nation and the citizens of my nation are best off, that is how you make the world a better place. And that's the alternative vision to the Great Reset. And it's up to us as conservatives, as citizens of actual nations, to step up and stand for that vision rather than just getting worked up over what the other side puts up on offer. We have to offer that alternative vision of our own. And in Western democracies around the world, I think that starts with sovereignty.
And this dude's 38.
He's 38. He's 38. Yep. He's sharp. I told you. And I like a lot of the things that he talks about.
Yeah.
You know, I definitely, one of the things that I like the most is when he talks about I think he I don't know if he calls it like the family government, but I've heard him talk about it before, where he says like the most important form of government in the world is the family government. Because the way you look at it, it's like it's a way of life. It's like the ruling of our house. It's the governance of our house. How is our house governed? That is the most important. If you have a good governance of your house and that is happening in this neighborhood, then we have a good neighborhood.
Right.
If that is happening in our city, then we have a good city.
Because it starts there.
But at the same time, I feel like he has a lot of this nationalist pride.
Yes.
Where I feel when you say God and nationalist and all that, it is, I mean, don't get me wrong. I was in the military. I joined for patriotic reasons and everything. But as I've gotten older, I noticed that we're not any different than anybody else. Like I said, I believe life is random. I happen to be born in the United States, which is why it doesn't make me any different than somebody born in Mexico.
Right.
I didn't choose to be born here. And when we can understand, and it's like, yes, we have to play the games that we're in. And I happen to be American. Yes, I'm going to do the best I can. And I want our country to be the best that it can. But it helps us have a little empathy when we understand that life is random, that you don't all get to be born in the United States. Some people do end up being born somewhere else. And that is just the luck of the draw, you know?
He brings about a different, like when you listen to him speak, I felt hope.
Yeah.
That's what came up for me, is like just hope. Yes.
And you know, kind of like the way I see this whole, what he was talking about, the whole family governance thing, right? It is very similar to what I think like the vision that he has. Because even though I may not feel, I don't know if he feels like we are better than other people. I'm not him. I don't know what goes through his head. I don't feel that way. I feel extremely fortunate and extremely lucky to have been born here.
Yes.
And I feel that this is our responsibility, our house, right? Number one is
Right.
we take care of our house, literally, our kids, you know,
Each
our
other.
marriage. And then from there, we can influence the kids that come to our house from down the street and from a little
Love.
bit further away.
Yeah.
I don't think that's any different than what he's trying to talk about. Is like everybody that's so worried, like we're worried about what is happening with Russia and Ukraine when our house is a fucking disaster.
Right.
It's like, let's focus here. We all live here. Let's focus here first and sort out all these fucking problems that we have. And then we can worry about trying to help somebody else out. But until we get these veterans off the freaking street, we can't be letting in more people. Until we get the homeless people that are citizens of the United States, we figure out what we're going to do with these people. We can't be letting in everybody else from every other country. Like, let's figure our stuff out. And then once we have a handle,
And
I mean, we
system.
don't have to fix
Yeah.
everything.
Right.
But once we get a handle and a good, you know, plan in place, then maybe we can start figuring out, like, how the fuck are we supposed to help the rest of the world? Like, seriously, are you fucking kidding me? Like, we're out helping people. Who the fuck are we gonna help when we have homeless people everywhere? When we have inflation going like crazy? When our dollar isn't, like, they'd be like, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. You motherfuckers keep doing your thing over there. We don't want your help.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody that was in our position came over to help you, you'd be like, I think I'm doing all right over here. I don't need your help, right? Get your shit together, which is maybe that's a more aggressive or direct way to say it, but that's kind of what it is, right?